welcome to the Be the CEO of Your Life live show. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are. Today is a very special day because I have a very special guest with me, Tracy. And this show is for ambitious entrepreneurs, ambitious leaders who are looking to get more time to maximize their efforts, to maximize their results and minimize their efforts. And really what you need to do to make sure that your business runs as easy as possible. And that's why I'm very excited, because today I am joined by Tracy O'Shaughnessy. Hi, Tracy.
Hello, Yvonne. Thank you for having me today.
My absolute pleasure. So I could talk about what you do for a long time, but can you please introduce people and say what it is that you do?
Oh, certainly. So I'm Tracy O'Shaughnessy. I am a brand strategist and the owner of the creative agency Branding and Beyond. And I work with clients who've been around a while, and they are great at what they do, but they're not so great at developing and managing their brand over time and as they grow.
Right. And we already have someone watching. That's always nice to know. Okay. So, and today we're going to talk about how to avoid a brand wedgie. I mean, this is one of your famous sayings. And the other one, which I really love, and we're going to talk about as well, is I don't do just pretty, right? But let's talk about brand wedgie first, because what even is a brand wedgie?
Okay, a brand wedgie is when a company's been around a while and they may or may not have developed a brand at some point. They may have just allowed it to grow organically, and some people did spend some time developing their logo and so forth. But they've evolved and they've grown, and they didn't have their brand grow with them. So that means their website, their marketing materials, anything that they have with their logo on it, basically, that talks about who they are and what they do. And it is remnants of what they were 5 to 10 years ago. So nothing fits anymore. And this happens to big and small companies. It's not just, a certain size, but the most of the time it happens when you don't have a marketing department. You don't have someone whose job it is to make sure these things evolve. And you look up one day, you're busy doing your job, delivering to clients, killing it with everybody. And then you look up and you're like, oops, we've got this big trade show coming up and we don't have anything. Everything is dusty and old and it's embarrassing and we're tired of it.
And so Amanda says, I love brand wedgie. But why does it matter? I mean, I have an assumption, but what does it hurt me as a business owner?
Most businesses rely on repeat and referral business, and that's great. But the problem with that is it's not repeatable, or you can't expect it to come in. You don't know when a referral is going to come in, and you don't know if the repeats are going to continue. So there is that other component of that new business. Well, if you don't look the part, if you don't look like the badass that you are, if you don't look like you're modern and your doors are open, they're going to bounce, or they might not even find you. You could be the most amazing service and the perfect thing for this new customer, but they either can't find you, or when they find you, they're like, no. And they don't even call you. Like, you don't even know the opportunities that you're missing because you don't look the part. And it sounds like, oh, that'll never happen to us. But if you think about how you search, you make very fast decisions. True. If somebody looks credible, they look reliable, are they trustworthy? Are they worth my time? Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. I mean, and most of the time it's no, yes. And so that's why it hurts. And it's also just a big downer to, okay, well, we're going to equate it, because we're both women, equate this to your wardrobe. If you have a wardrobe that's all old and frumpy and you just, you don't feel good. But let's say you have a stylist come in and they figure out who you are, what you look amazing in, what works for your body type. And your whole wardrobe now is full of things that fit and make you feel like $1 million. You could walk in there blind and get dressed, and you know that it's all going to work together. It's all coordinated. That's the difference, because your staff is frustrated. They're all having to create their own stuff. They're embarrassed by kind of the company they work for, because they go to a trade show and everybody else is all put together and packaged, but you know you're great at what you do, but you don't look the part. And it's a relatively easy fix. It's just the companies, that's not their core competency, and they don't know where to start. And a lot of companies have tried over and over to fix this, but they're not really sure what they need to fix. Do I need a new website? What do I need? And they've been burned multiple times. And, there's lots of problems getting this fixed, but it is a relatively easy fix.
And the thing is, so, when this is happening and your branding is outdated, it's costing you money, and you might know it, because your team is telling you, hey, listen, I really can't use this proposal anymore, or this is really outdated, help me.
Yeah.
Or you might not know it because people visit your website, well, unless you have trackers, of course, and it just vanish because it looks it looks like you're being stuck in the past century,
Right. Yeah, and some websites out there look like they were built before the internet. You're like, oh, bless your heart. But some of them look good, but then they don't say anything. So that, like the CEO or whatever, like, we just bought a new one. It looks great. Well, yeah, but have you read it? It doesn't, there's lots of words there, but it doesn't say anything meaningful. So when your customer or potential customer comes, they don't realize you are the perfect choice for them. You were built for customers like them, and they don't know it.
Yeah. And that's where you say, because I love your headline on LinkedIn, ditch the blah, blah.
Yeah. Ditch the blah, blah corporate BS. And let's have a real conversation.
Yeah.
It doesn't always have to be super clever. It just needs to be clear who you are, what you do, and who your target audience is, because they're going to give a damn about something. And they need to quickly make a decision. Are you for me or are you not for me? Because I'm trying to find somebody for me.
Yeah.
And we want to not make them work so hard, because they're probably not gonna. They're going to go to the next person that is more clear, because we all go towards just clarity, and we run away from confusion.
Yeah. So talk to me about how you, because you said there can be there to branding. Let's talk about branding and marketing first, because this is a big one, right? So what's the difference? Because when you say branding, a lot of people think marketing. When people talk marketing, they actually talk about branding, and then there's also PR and copywriting. What's the difference?
So much. Yeah. So there's layers to this. Branding is basically your reputation. A brand is your reputation. Branding is the act of molding that. So a brand is built in two ways. It's built by what people hear and by what they experience. So I'm going to assume you've got the experience down. If you've got repeat and referral, you pretty much have that down. I mean, you could probably improve it, but it's probably pretty good.
Yeah.
Where people forget is the what you tell people or what they hear. So this could be what you say. It also could be what your competitors are saying. So if you have a void in the market because you're not out there actively saying who you are and what you do and what you stand for and so forth, your competitors can very easily say, oh, they're really expensive. So in that customer's head, oh, you're the expensive one. You've just been branded by your competitor, and it's your own damn fault.
Yeah.
So marketing is way up here. This is where you're getting the word out.
Right.
And then branding happens lower to the ground. That's your foundation. That should be who you are, what you stand for, what your core messaging is, that kind of thing. It's your visual and verbal identity. And it should really be strong on the verbal side. And then you want to make sure that it looks good and it looks the part. You look professional. Then once you have that visual and verbal brand, then you apply that to things. So you apply it to your website, you apply it to your marketing. So now if you're just playing around in the marketing layer, which a lot of people do, you jump from tactic to tactic to tactic. And you're trying to get the word out, but you really aren't sure what the word should be. You're just wasting your money. And this is the thing that just breaks my heart, because there's so many good firms out there that are trying desperately. They're spending the money, they're committing the time, and they're trusting a bunch of people who their job is to sell you ads. So they're going to sell you ads. And it might not be the thing you need right now. And it might not be to the right market, or it might be too generic because you're trying to be everything to everybody. And that's one of the first conversations I have with clients is you don't have the time, the money, or the effort to be everything to everybody.
No,
you need to figure out who you were built for. And let's market to them and kill it there. And then we can branch out.
Yeah. But it's then also, so because this is your, your thing, but just so I get it right? So you're saying your branding is the foundation, who you are and what you stand for. So it's almost like you're building the foundation of your statue.
Completely.
And really, I need to make sure that so this is the foundation, who I am, what I stand for, who I serve, specifically. Once I've got that, and that's more strategic and thinking, or not so much thinking, but verbalizing what's already there, I think. It's not coming up with it, it's more verbalizing. Only then I can go to the website and I can go to marketing and what have you.
Right. But exactly. I always go from the bottom up.
Yeah, I hear you. And this is why you say, I don't do just pretty.
Yes. And because in that brand foundation, the visual identity is the last thing I do. I want to figure out the guts of who you are. And I'm not fabricating a brand. That's why I like to work with firms that have been around a while, that have repeat and referral, because that's evidence that they're good at what they do. And so I go in and I figure it out more like an archaeologist. I'm trying to discover the goodies that they have. And then it's the combination of those goodies to figure out how they're going to be positioned in the market. What's their differentiation? How are we going to message? How are we going to wrap words and visuals around this so that the ideal customer sees it and feels it? Because I basically jump over my client, put my arm around their customer, look back at the business and figure out, okay, so I know what you want now. I need to make sure that you understand that they deliver that for you, and specifically for you and people like you so that they get it. Because in the best world, I want the customer to find them either by stumbling upon them via Google or running across them or whatever, and then digging in just even the littlest bit and get goosebumps. They're like, finally, hallelujah, I have found the company. That's a hard, lofty thing to achieve, but that's the goal. Is to smooth out that sales cycle, to remove as many barriers as possible to the path of you realizing it, the customer realizing it, and then making that decision. Because I want price to kind of melt away, because none of us built our business to be a commodity. We don't want to compete on price. So in the absence of clarity and reasons why you're different, people are going to go to price because that's the only thing to compare apples to apples to apples. So if you have your brand clarified, you've got it messaged and positioned where it's very obvious what you do and what you stand for and who your business is and what your purpose is and what you give a damn about, and the other competitors don't, you then have a huge leg up, even if you're significantly more expensive. Because now you've justified that. And they're like, I don't want to go with that lower cost guy because I don't trust that as much anymore. So you've separated them. And that is a huge benefit of spending the time and money on branding.
I really like that. So basically you're saying good branding just makes you stand apart in such a way that the pricing doesn't matter anymore, because it's all about the quality you deliver and the content or the context, and they just want you. So basically you make customers or clients fall in love with you.
Yeah, exactly. Branding is really a love story. It really is. It's a love story between the customer and their company. Like I want, and it works all around the company. It's not just towards marketing does this work. The culture gets tighter because the employees feel proud to work for this company. It's put together. Everything looks good. We are not starting from scratch with every project. We have materials. We've got the support we need as a sales team. We've got slide decks that are, just make our job easier. Everything is smoother. And it's also easier to acquire employees Because now employees see, I want to work for this company that stands for this. And, everything is easier. Marketing is more effective. The money that you spend is more effective because you have a clear message. And just everything is easier because you've got the templates now. You've got the structure. And the brand is, in essence, it's a filtration system for a lot of things. It's like, okay, are we going to go to this trade show? Well, is it on brand? So what that means is, does it fit our target market, what we do and what we stand for? And if it doesn't, we don't go there. So it makes all decisions easier too, because it's your filtration system. Do we go for this kind of client? Well, does that fit who we are? Are we the best solution for that? Well, maybe not. But these people over here, we are perfect alignment. So let's spend our time and our money and lined up our salespeople to go after that audience.
I like that. So I like that it has such so many side benefits, so to say. Really, this is a big one. Okay, I'm gonna hide it for now, and then I'm gonna go back to it because I want to look you in the eye when I talk about this. So it's the foundation that you bring there, which actually, as a business owner, makes you even more proud of what's already in store and in place. It's not that you come up with something, it's just that you highlight what's there. You get your employees to be more excited because now all of a sudden everything looks branded, everything is professional, everything is top notch because right, that's why everybody wants to work for
all consistent, nothing is embarrassing. The salespeople don't have to put out a business card and say, oh yeah, but don't go to our site where we're doing it when they're doing, because they're embarrassed of it. And it also undermines their relationship with the client because they'll go to the website and they're like, oh, but it says you do this thing, that you don't do this thing that we're talking about. And they're like, oh, but we do this thing. We've done it for 5 years. It just hasn't made it to the website. So you have to have these conversations and this song and dance that you wouldn't have to do if you had it all consistent and clear and, you look the part.
I like that. I'm just thinking about a conversation I had earlier this week with someone trying to sell it to me. And, they sound it and I was like, yeah, we do that. And I was like, well, then show it to me.
Right. I've had conversations with coaches and I've gone and looked at their LinkedIn profile and they've got 3 current positions. And I'm like, is this a side hustle? Is this your real thing? What they have out there on LinkedIn totally undermined their credibility. And it could be that they just haven't looked at it lately and they forgot to take those things off. But it made this sowed seeds of doubt for me. And I want to remove all seeds of doubt because what I do is really for the sales team to do their job well.
I hear you. Okay, now let's see. There were some questions that I want to honor. Hold on. I need to go to the question. So the first one was from David. Do you work with any company or only with specific industries?
Well, I can do this for anybody, but the majority of my customers fall in the commercial building trades and in and around that. I have a lot of experience there and I do a lot of work there.
Right.
I try to stay within those niches because I know it really well and I can offer a lot of benefits to the clients as far as strategy and so forth. But I do take clients outside of that if it's a good fit, because branding is a very intimate thing that we have to have a connection. And if we don't, even in my niche, if it's not a connection, I will tell them, this isn't a fit. You're going to go do great work with somebody else. I don't think it's going to be with me because of this. And I want you to have that. I want them to have that good connection. So they do good work.
And I think maybe, this might be a good moment to talk about a brand clarifier, which is basically where people get the insights into, okay, how on par is my branding still? Are there great opportunities for me to up level? It is like what we talked about, but then they can see it for their own company, whether there is something to improve or maybe they're top notch already. But that's what this is for, right?
Yeah. So brand clarifier is if someone, they don't really know where to focus. They don't know what to start on first. They know there's a problem, but they're not really sure what needs to be fixed. So we can do this brand clarifier, which is a deep dive interview into your business, where you are, where you've been, where you want to go. And we're going to discuss your business goals and the hurdles that are in your way and create a plan to attract and land the types of projects that you want. And what I'm looking for is the high impact branding and marketing opportunities for you. And then I create a plan for you, and then we go over that. And so it's a 2-meeting structure, and you get a plan, and I will tell you what it'll cost to move forward with me to get me and my team to help you solve those problems, or you can take it and work with whoever you want. But it gives you an opportunity to get access to a strategist to give you that bird's eye view of the situation and kind of line you up a little bit, so that you're not wasting time and spending time in the marketing layer jumping from tactic to tactic when you really have a foundational problem.
Right. And this could be done by any company to type today's question, any company, and then you could see whether there's a click, whether you could serve them.
Exactly. Yeah, it serves multiple purposes. I mean, you get a plan out of it. That the discussion itself is going to bring a lot of insight, just from talking through what your business is and who your customers are, and that alignment between those things. And then you get the plan to figure out what you want to do.
Yeah. And often just asking the questions is already like opening. I totally agree.
Just the conversation will be insightful. I mean, lots of things will come out because most people haven't talked about these things before or been asked a lot of these questions.
Yeah.
And the answers are all there, and we've just got to find them.
Yeah. But that makes sense. I mean, if you're busy running your business, you're busy serving your clients because that's what you do best. And in all fairness, that's what you should do best, because for the other things, and that's what I always recommend, go with an expert. Don't try to fix it yourself because you won't get it right, or it will take you ages. So
much longer, so much longer to get it done. And I'm going to see things that they can't see.
Yeah.
Which is helpful. And, this isn't their core competency. And most of these small businesses, and this could be businesses up to, $80 million. I mean, this is not a small business problem. I was
going to say small businesses.
Yeah. The top line revenue number all depends on what you sell. I mean, that's kind of arbitrary number, but usually it's people that don't have a marketing department, because in theory, if you have a marketing department, they're already managing this for you. That's not totally true, but a lot of the times it is. And the business owner, they're busy. They've grown. That's one thing about a brand Wedgie, is it's evidence that you've grown and that you've evolved, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing.
I was going to say.
So once you realize that you kind of look up and you're like, oops, this stuff doesn't fit anymore, but you should celebrate the fact that you're killing it. And now it's the time to just take a slight detour and focus on rebranding the company, because that's the antidote for a brand Wedgie, is just doing that rebrand and finding who you are, and then you're done. But you have to have that mindset change. From that point forward, you need to have a branding mindset of it's no longer set it and forget it. All of your assets need to grow with you.
Yeah.
But I don't think anybody should beat themselves up for where they're at. You've killed it. You've done your job and you've grown.
Yeah.
Now you just need to bring in a professional to help you with this part and adopt that mindset to move forward and have it grow with you.
I hear you. So Amanda said earlier, let's see, clarity and differentiation make you feel more stable and nurture trust, right?
Yes,
I hear
completely.
you. If you're clear about your why and they buy into that, they will work with you no matter what you charge. I love that.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah. Great. So, and then you also shared with us the brand map. What's that?
Yeah. So this is a chart that I've developed. It can be visually overwhelming when you first look at it, but starting at the bottom, this is your foundational bits. So the very bottom is the research phase of finding out who the company is. And then the black layers are the integral parts of the strategy, and, developing your differentiation and your positioning in the market, your core messaging, your visual identity. Then usually the first project I do out of the gate is the website, because we got to get that right. I mean, that is your your digital headquarters. That's where your brand manifests these days. That's where it lives in this digital world. And everybody is going to come check you out. Like if they hear from you, if they talk to a salesperson, if somebody refers them, they're going to check out your website and they're going to stomp on it a little bit and see if it feels solid. They're going to give you the opportunity to earn their trust over time. But if it's not solid, they're bouncing. They're out of there. Like you've lost that opportunity. So we need to get that right. Then we go to the marketing layer. Because marketing is always going to be pointing to, and it needs to be supported by a solid site. And of course, the site has to be supported by a good brand, good messaging. Otherwise, it's just blah, blah, blah corporate BS, like all the other sites out there.
I hear you. I hear you.
We don't want any more of those.
Okay, great. So before we're going to wrap it up, is there anything that we didn't talk about or that we forgot to mention or that people really need to remember? I mean, I think this quote is quite of, people will remember that with some of your other ditch the blah, blah, I don't do just pretty. They're quite, remarkable quotes. But is there anything else we need to discuss right now?
I think we covered a lot of it. It's just to know that there's help out there and that you don't need to beat yourself up and you don't need to try to do it yourself. And coming to a branding firm, we're going to back up the bus and not let you do any of the big expensive stuff in marketing until we get it right. Yeah. And we'll find, me or any other branding firm. There's some branding firms that just do visual identity. So you need to make sure that it's not just the packaging, it's the messaging as well. Because the packaging is great, and that can get you farther down the line. But if it still doesn't say anything meaningful, it's not going to solve the problem at all. But don't beat yourself up. It just means you've grown, you've evolved. Let's celebrate that. And then just dig in and figure out who you are. And then do that, rebrand. And it's so exciting. Once it's done, everybody feels like, and like the salespeople know how to talk about the company. I'm working with a company now and they're a big company. And the employees keep saying, I don't really know how to describe what we do because we do so much. And, but it's a problem that a lot of companies have. I mean, they are not, alone in that at all. I see that over and over and over that just the team is just like, we're working our butts off.
But that's painful if you're in the first team and you can't tell your clients what it is exactly that you do.
Well, it takes a long description. We're this and this and this, but we're not that, and then we're also this, and then we also do this thing over here. That then gets super confusing, and you need to provide a way for people to follow you in their head, and that needs to be as clear as possible. Because you're not going to be remembered, you're not going to be referred, and you're not going to come up in my head when I need a service like yours if you've been confusing.
Right. I hear you.
But don't beat yourself up. There's a way to fix this.
Right. And the way is basically to reach out to you and to discuss it or brand strategies in general, but to make sure it's really about the foundation.
Yes, make that solid first before spending money and throwing it down that black hole of marketing, because we've all done that and it's painful and it hurts and it's
yeah. And you offer the full shebang.
Yeah, I do a lot more on the content marketing side and the authority building side. When it comes to ads and things like that, I bring in specialists because that's ever changing. But a lot of my clients don't go the Google ad route or anything like that. We're doing the core branding, the core marketing with a sales team. So in that brand map, you'll see there's 5 different main categories or channels for marketing. And most of my clients will fall in, the web category, some content marketing, maybe a little PR, and core salespeople, because they've got boots on the ground and I'm creating things to support them. So their main marketing is going through the salespeople.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So if anybody is thinking about, I might have a brand wedgie.
Yes.
First of all, good.
You can evaluate that.
Good for you, We're you got a brand wedgie. Now go fix it. Yeah. So people can reach out. Branding and Beyond is the website, and you're on LinkedIn. and people can reach you. So thank you so much, Tracy. I must say I am a bit disappointed that we didn't have margaritas, but I know it's 11 a.m. your time. So
yeah.
You know.
Well, now that it's 11, I can. Well, it's 11:30 now. Now I can have one. But yeah.
You tell
we
me.
could have started with a Bloody Mary. Like that's an official morning drink. We could have done that.
Yeah. We could have done that. Well, maybe next time we'll do that. Okay.
Sounds great. Thank you, Yvonne. This was wonderful.
Thank you all for watching. Well, I like this one to close with. If you confuse, you lose. I think that's a good one.
Collier. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's close it off. So thank you everyone for being here. Tracy, thank you for being my lovely guest.
Thank you.
And I wish you all an amazing weekend. The show will be back on Monday, same time, same place. See you then. Bye.
Bye, everyone.